Even as we grow, I think that we also really take care in who we hire, not only to make sure that they are the right fit and experience and all of those normal things, but also to make sure that they are kind and collaborative and good listeners. Hi, I'm Caitlin Campbell, Director of Product at Clyde. Super excited to talk to you guys today. At Clyde, we're getting many applicants a day for jobs posted online. And so what we really look for is someone who's a clear communicator, as well as having a resume that's really focused on the whys and the output and not so much the tasks at hand, because we believe if you can deliver value, then you'll figure out how to do things however they need to be done, but it's really about focusing on value. We look at communication through the cover letter of the applicant, as well as just generally how the resume is communicated. As much as possible, we look for concise bullets, someone that doesn't over-explain, and someone who, again, is very able to focus on the value of what they've provided to past employers. I think candidates are often intimidated either by the industry or by the job description. And I think generally what recruiters and hiring managers are focused on are actually capabilities and willingness to learn and a lot of those soft skills. And so overcoming that initial fear of the unknown is the biggest hurdle. And then once candidates can prove that they are able to learn, it's a much easier task to apply to a job. So my favorite question to ask candidates in interviews is why. So I like to follow up on a prioritization decision or product development design with a why to really understand how the candidates are thinking about approaching a problem. The other question that I really like is, what are you good at? Because I think it gives the candidate an opportunity to bring up strengths that might not have come through in the interview questions. And then you also get to see that moment of humility or not from a candidate and how do they talk about what they're really good at. So 2 things to think about when interviewing. One is really don't take the rejections personally. It might have nothing to do with you. It might be about a specific industry experience, or it could be just plain bad luck with timing. So obviously take feedback from interviews and try to solicit that as much as possible, but don't let your rejections impede you from and prevent you from applying to future jobs. And second, I think also be really thoughtful about who you're interviewing with and try to tailor your questions to who you're talking to. So the director of engineering and the head of marketing at a company might ask the same question, but really care about different aspects of it. So try to get into the mindset of your interviewer and think about that even ahead of the interview to understand what is this person really looking for in this role. Remote interviews are really fun. I personally just really enjoy human interaction and being in person. It's hard to replicate that, but in remote interviews, I always try to be very respectful of the candidate, turn off Slack, turn off all notifications, make sure that as much as possible, there isn't noise in the background, etc. Also trying to have those personal moments and trying to replicate those, like walking between offices or going to the water cooler at work, trying to replicate those moments where you have a little bit more personal interaction and doing that remotely and trying to build that into our interview process. Just where we are as a company, being post Series A and hiring really quickly, it really feels like we're building the company culture and product all together. And I think that's a really amazing place to be as a group and getting to contribute to that long-term vision. Clyde has already really prioritized having female leadership at the top. And so I already have some really strong female mentors that I look to and learn from. And so I think any candidate should know that structure is already in place. You'll have a mentor and person to look to help you through your career. And so you should definitely apply to Clyde because we're really building something to change an entire industry and we want you to be a part of it.